When I was a kid, I got my first computer, and it was this computer, a Commodore 64. You had to hook it up to a television, and it was an amazing machine. It could do color graphics, and it could do sound. But the best thing was that you could actually create your own programs. You could let the machine do the things you wanted it to do. BASIC, that was the name of this programming language, and it looked like this. And I know that a lot of people find programming confusing and it looks complicated, but yeah, actually it's not. It's just a matter of a few times if this, then that at the right time. And if you repeat that a couple of times, you have a program. And programming looks complicated, but we do that in normal life all the time. You know, if it rains, then you take an umbrella. So it's not that complicated. And in case of a game, this is how games looked on the Commodore 64. Like, if the user was pressing the joystick to the left, the little person would move to the left. And if the person would enter the house, something could happen. Well, of course, a lot changed in this whole computer industry between this Commodore 64 age and the things we are seeing now, Pokemon Go, augmented reality games. The whole world has been turned into a game. It looks different, but actually the real difference is something else. It is actually about the influence of computers on society. In the beginning, when it was the Commodore 64 and the IBM PC, there were computers and they were helping us with tasks, computers doing things with us, for us. But then, when the internet came, computers started to know about the world, started to deal with it, started to help us with things in the real world. And when the mobile phone arrived, we were taking this internet right into the world. I mean, this helpful machine was even getting closer to this phenomenon where it was talking about, the real world. And with augmented reality, the integration is almost final, but we're not there yet. At the top, you see a person. I drew a person because this is really where it's going. We are going to be in this hybrid reality, which consists of the real world and the virtual world for the whole day. An augmented reality device will present you this augmented reality future. And it's time to worry a little bit, because this is the plan by Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. He wants to produce such a device, but at this moment we are not very happy with Facebook, right? We are seeing fake news, and we don't like the fact that Mark is defining what we get to see on our feed. There's these processes behind it. It's a black box. We don't know what's happening, and then suddenly they decide that you should see more topics or posts by your friends and family, and they decide that for you. Of course, you can configure it a little bit. You can switch certain groups off. You can say, okay, only my colleagues, not friends or family, or the other way around. Yeah, but this kind of configuration is not really what you want, and it's not enough, because if you really wipe out everything you don't want, you end up with an empty feed. So something needs to change. And therefore, the only solution is actually to split up Facebook in components, just like we've seen before. Like Microsoft had to disbundle the Internet Explorer from their operating system. Sometimes it needs to happen when a company is too big, when their influence is too big, when they're too big to beat. So if you would break up Facebook, you could decide where you want to store your own data, who is the owner of the data, and there are groups working on that already. Also, you want to know why you're seeing things in your Facebook feed, and you want to know why you are seeing that. There's this whole profiling mechanism active. You're being studied, everything is being studied, but you have no clue what they're finding out about you. So if you're able to choose your own components, you can say, well, I don't want this component to be the component of Facebook, I want another component. So maybe we end up using only the interface of Facebook, which is fine, you know, could be that could be the thing we use. And if you choose your components, you might not choose components that are based on machine learning, because this is what machine learning looks like. It is these neural networks that, yeah, they know how to produce the right outcomes, but nobody knows why they're producing these outcomes. So maybe you don't want to use these kind of components that use machine learning language. Perhaps you want these if, this, then, that rules. And then a little more advanced than just this one. Maybe you want to sometimes specify, well, if it rains, then I take an umbrella, except when it storms. You know, you want to be able to use these advanced rules. So I think you want to have this transparency, you want to have this freedom of choice, because the impact of these social media, Facebook, is growing. It's not just the feed you're seeing, it's about your whole life. They're defining what you're going to do. Events are on Facebook, you're suggested to go to places. So the influence of this technology is growing, and therefore, we should worry a little bit. We're already dependent on this mobile phone. It's a device that takes us to appointments. It even makes appointments. It matches us when we're dating, for example. It brings us there at a date, and as soon as augmented reality devices are going to be a mass medium, this is what a date could look like. And then you think, why should you wear such a thing? Well, this device could help you to say the right things at the right time, for example. And if you take that one step further, these wearables you're wearing, like monitoring your heart rate, if you both agree to just share that data with each other, you can have a system that automatically says to you, well, now this one was a good topic, you said the right thing, but now say this or that. You will have a perfectly efficient and effective date. And of course, this still does not look very comfortable, but these devices are getting smaller. This is quite a normal pair of glasses, especially for me wearing one. I can imagine myself wearing a device like this. And when they are small like this, then it's going to be an amazing opportunity for these companies to control what you see. They want to control where you go, what you do. And you can already peek into the future by looking at patent applications. And for example, here, this is one object recognizers that define what's happening in your environment and what you should do. And a more clear example of this is when, for example, you're shopping with your augmented reality device, and the device knows what you're seeing, but it also knows your physical reaction to products. So you could say, hey, you now have to buy this, or it might even give you a reduction for a specific product. And of course, it really depends if you're wearing an Amazon wearable or a Google, Amazon, or Apple wearable. I mean, there's going to be a lot of business there to do this recommendation part. Another example, if you're decorating your house and you're feeling a little stressed, this device could say, well, I can help you. And these devices are sold to us as being the most amazing products that allow you to do anything in a sort of do-it-yourself way. Yeah, but is that the do-it-yourself world we want? No, I don't think so. And it's even more clear when you look at the whole scheme of things in this way. If you have people, your body, with all the data it's originating from there, if you have these blog posts, whatever, news articles, then you have the big five, the big companies in the middle, and then once again, they're transferring that data to you, they're defining what you should do, where you need to go to. So it's clear that it should be the other way around. I mean, the people should be in the middle, you know? And therefore I think it's time to develop a API, which is an application programming interface for humans. So instead of just waiting and letting things happen to you, it's time to take control. you need to be able to define which components you are using, which components are influencing your life. And it should not just be these big companies, there should be this endless amount of opportunities or possibilities. And you can even create your own. You could script your own life. You could create an app that defines for you what to say. You could write your own if this, then that rules. You can configure yourself with your mobile phone. You know, with just a few basic rules, you can already define, for example, how you're feeling. If everybody is happy, then I am happy. Or if somebody goes home, then I am not happy. Or if somebody is not happy, then I go home, etc. So that will result in a device that will tell you how you're feeling. And it's not that weird because we are already accustomed to that. You know, we have these monitoring devices that monitor our sleep, say, hey, you did well, your sleep was perfect, or you're doing this good, or you're doing that good. In this case, this device will say to you, hey, yeah, you're happy because that's because of these rules that you specified for yourself, and in this case, rule 3, 5, and 6 applied, and yes, you are happy. So, sooner or later, when you see people on the streets standing like this, that used to be the activity Pokemon Go, you know, catching Pokemons, but yeah, sooner or later people will be then configuring themselves. If you see this scenery, configuring themselves, or maybe they're even sharing rules amongst each other, you know, because that could be the nice thing, that collaboratively we can start creating, developing, or construct a sort of digital mind for humans. So we don't want this to be done by these big companies and have no influence. No, we want to be the ones that are creating this. So we want to shape this future human. So don't worry about the programming. I already explained. It's just a matter of if, this, then, that. And I really think it's time to start now. And of course, in the beginning, it will be very minimalistic. You know, it's hard to be this machine learning algorithms that are amazing. But if we don't start now, we know where it's going to end. So I think it's time to take control, start programming, control yourself. Don't let a system control you. It's time to be your own robot. And I would like to end with that. Thank you.